Yo, what's up guys? Today we're gonna be doing all of the re-ups from the event, and just for a reference point, if I want to buy 150 re-ups from this, I set myself down for 600 bucks. Sure, you have a bunch of discounts with like Huawei Up Gallery and that kind of stuff. It's not the best spec for re-ups because most of the time you have some re-ups and then also some other stuff in there. But just for the feeling, this is like 500 to 600 bucks. Sure, you also get crystals normally, but this is a good amount of re-up cost normally. So if you're normally thinking about like, hey, should I be buying re-ups? Well, you can actually check by a session like this what is kind of like your expectation, what you do gonna get from re-ups. So in this case, we do have all of those re-ups over here. You might ask, what should you get? Which one should you get? Well, in the end, you have 15 out there. Main thing that I just recommend you not to get, because that's easier, are the ones here at the bottom, except for fight routes. So let's just grab all of them. I do think I have enough points right now to have all of them. It's also always recommended, as I showcased in a previous video, to have every re-up target or every potential re-up type for this event. At least have like 1 or 2 targets where you're like, hey, I could actually throw some re-ups at this and it wouldn't be too bad because it's like a crit rate 4 that could be a broken set. It's like an attack 2 or 6 for like a damage kind of rune, or anything along those lines which could be useful. So let's see what we have left. We only have 3 left over here. I do want to go for a destroy. Destroy is a little bit more value. Seal, I really don't care that too much about. These I all don't care that much about. I have 2 left. In this case, I'm gonna go Fatal because I do know I farm a good bit of Fatal, and I think I will go Energy over these 2. However, I'm farming these 2 right now, but all of these 3 I literally couldn't even care less, and it's just one final one left. Would I go Seal? Nah, I probably don't have any targets for Seal. I'm pretty sure I will have like targets on Energy. So those are all of those over there. Then we also have this shop later on, which is, well, there's no energy buy, so it's just buying this and a little bit of crafts over there. Besides this, let's also buy like the final bits of re-ups we have over here. Just add a little bit more re-ups to the re-ups so we can re-up while we're re-upping, anything like that. So let's claim all of those. Apparently you cannot claim them all together, but we can claim them individually. And let's see for the target. So in my case, I do have the 2 different targets that are for re-ups. It's re-up 1, re-up 2. Re-up 2 is like a higher value of re-up targets. Re-up 1 is just lower value of re-up targets. Simple as that. So let's actually select both of them over here. And let's start off with the actual re-ups that I do have, which are on Vio, or that I do want to do on Vio. And let's just see from there. So I have 10 like normal ones, or 11 normal ones. Of course, they always take these first, but let's see, 150 re-ups, or actually we're looking at 161 re-ups. What can we get from 161 re-ups? Because you might think like, ooh, that's, well, 500 bucks, 600 bucks in re-ups. We got to be getting something good, right? Right? Please, anything? So yeah, let's see if that's anything but a session. Truth to be told, it's been like, I think 2.5 years right now since my last quad speed on re-ups, and I used to buy a lot of re-ups. So as you can see, this rune does absolutely nothing. I personally kind of have this weird feeling that if a target, like some runes just will never be good in re-up. Like you probably have some targets, you definitely know that feeling. You have some of those targets, you threw like 1,000 re-ups in, like figure of speeds, but you threw so many re-ups in and it never gotten anything remotely good, and then you go to the next target and like 2 or 3 and it's like, yo, this is actually usable. I do feel like certain targets will actually never be good. And when is the threshold of stopping to do anything? Is this usable? It's -1, -2, -3. I would maybe recommend some other people to use it, but in my case, it's still kind of useless. But as I was saying, like I feel like certain targets will just never be anything good. And this is a high triple roll on resistance right there. This looks like something that could be something promising, but then again, I think every re-up in the end is just full at random. But for me, I kind of have that low-key feeling that like, yo, certain runes have better chances of getting something good than some others. So in this case, let's just move on to a different one for a little bit. I have plenty of targets probably anyways. Let's see, target over here. 6-ack, let's do a 6-ack. It's high on the defense, always high on the defense. But I think for those fire ones over here that we're having, it's nothing too crazy to write home about. Or is it going to be on the last 2? Anything nice? No, well, if you were 29 speed, that would have been nice, but no, you're not nice. Okay, moving on to the next. I think I'm just gonna go top left to top right. Okay, in this case, I don't have anything for energy. So energy, I actually did not get anything in. What you can do right now is just find anything and throw them on them. You can also just simply wait until you actually do get them. In this case, for the purpose of the video, I'm just gonna throw them at anything I can find that I think like, yo, might be something semi-decent where I'm not too fond about, like, yo, just fuck it, just use it. So in this case, a lot of the times it's like crit rate 4s and those kind of things. In this case, I would recommend... Oh, wait, this is actually pretty darn high attack one. Did not even notice. Is this a quad roll attack? That is a quad roll attack. But that is a quad roll attack I'm never going to be using for dear life. Same as this one. It's just high efficient, but it's never going to be used ever. So let's just try to make it a quad speed, and then it would actually be used, and otherwise we just call it a day. It's not that I really need anything for energy in the first place, to be honest. So would I recommend doing it on a rune like this? No, I'm just doing this for the purpose of this video, just to get all of the 161 re-ups in. In most cases, I would recommend people to say is like, yo, if you don't have any targets, keep on farming more. You will probably get targets, at least 1 or 2 targets relatively fast. Doesn't always have to be a crit rate 4, but crit rate 4 is one of those broken things that can always fit something good. Also, slot 2s are also always mostly pretty decent, but then it's definitely catered to the set itself. So if it's something on the set that you're most likely on, that's a pretty high roll itself as well, then it's better on the broken. So this is the one we did not do right. Yep, okay, that's perfect. So let's go for this one once again. And let's move on to the next. Swift. Swift, I've actually been re-upping a crit rate 4 as well, for the main reason of just trying to get a good one that is something useful. Like this is also one of those. It is like a quad roll into flat attack. But the only thing you actually need on a slot 4 is just straight up getting your high speeds in. So let's try to get high speeds. And that was a 19 on a 14. If there was like a 14 on like a 24, I would have absolutely kept that. Then it's really good for Sonya. But in this case, not that much. So let's just do until 5. And then I want to see if I have any slot 2s. Did not get any slot 2s that I want to re-up in here. Okay, now we just continue on. Otherwise, I would have probably done a slot 2, like for just a few tries. Because slot 2s, in the end, it's definitely one of those runes that have a lot more chance of getting anything good. Because this, for example, if this was on the slot 2, 19 on 22 on 2 grindable, or like one of the 2 grindables, the other one good, then it would have definitely been usable. If it's in the slot 4 with crit rate, you just want speed. If it's on an attack 6, it's still awkward. It's one of those things that you definitely do want to go for things that, no matter what it rolls, it's still good, and that you're not just full on speed chasing. At least that helps it a lot more to save a lot of runes in the first place. So Blade, did remember that I saved a slot 4 for that as well. Blade, I can definitely, if I get a crit rate on this, I have a Blade slot 3 that is on a 34 speed. If I get this to a high quad roll, then this would be absolutely goated to combine with that other set. But in that case, I would need a quad roller on this. And most likely, if you're just aiming for the quad rolls, I don't even know. Anyone, let me know in the comments, what is the actual math for you getting a quad roll on a re-up? Sure, it depends on like what's the main stat, what's the substat, and those kind of things, and what's the slot. But in general sense, I think the odds are incredibly crazy low. That's the amount of money you have to spend for just one average. That's a 23. That's is usable. Too bad about this. If this was like 16-ish attack, then it would have been super nice. I can still make the attack in here and then grind this. It is usable, though. It is usable. It's definitely not great, but would have been nice if that was a little bit higher. So in this case, did I save any one of those? Yep, I did save this one. That's actually quad roll defense. Fucking hell. I would need high speeds, high crit damage. You could say it's like, but why are you actually re-upping a crit innate? And why wouldn't you go for something that where you can roll both crit rate and crit damage? Would be nice, yeah, but in this case, that's the only thing that I have. And I do know that I can really improve my highest damage set if I get more crit damage rather than more crit rate. So in this case, that's what I'm aiming for with this. Particularly my slot 6 is my weakest slot on crit damage, because my best slot 6 is, I think it is a 6 crit rate, 24 crit damage. That is 32 attack, also quads. Why are you not like 32 crit damage? That would have been insane. But nope, not lucky on that one. Well, we have a little bit of speed, but that's definitely not going to be used. Did we get focus in for anything? I do think so. So in this case, focus, I don't have any targets on. But let's just see what we can find. Okay, you're already a quarter. Definitely not going to be using you. Is that a crit rate? Ah, that's a pretty recent crit rate. Yeah. We could do a crit damage on this one. That is an option. It is something that I can already use. But let's just do this. Yeah, let's just do this. It is usable, but since for the sake of this video, let's just throw things at random stuff. That's also, in general sense, I would recommend you to actually keep track of your targets. Make sure that you use it at the right target and you don't use them fully at random. It's like, this could be a thing. And then later on, it's like, but wait, I actually wanted to re-up the other one. Which often does happen, but since it's just focus and those kind of things, I don't really expect too much to get out of here. But watch me get like a high speed roll on just the most random thing out there at some point. 30 speed. Oh no, wait, 30 defense. Let's move on. Let's see. Nope, nothing on focus neither. Well, then again, focus kind of a useless set, but I have a focus slot one with high speeds. Endure is the one set I did not do, right? Okay, Ancient, that's not what I was looking for. This one, yep, don't have Endure. Fatal, we definitely do have, and I definitely do think that I saved some targets in this. So let's remove all of them again. Once again, the crit rate on this. It's already looking at 28 speeds. I mean, defense. Always the defense, boys. Always the defense. So in this case, crit rate on Fatal is not the best thing out there. Like I mentioned, it's always the defense. But yeah, it's probably the thing I can use the most. Especially with an 8 innate on Egg. It can definitely be a broken set for like a Shiho. Could be a broken set for an Ethna. Could be still for Sonya. There's a lot of crit rate force, high speed wonders out there. So that is a high triple roll. Or is that? No, that's a quad roll in attack. Okay, we keep the quad roll in attack. Yeah, that has to be quad roll in attack. That is a quad roll in speed. Holy shit! That's okay. That's actually a really good one. That's a really good one right there. Holy. Because that's full on grindable. Wait. That's a really solid one right there. Yep, event. Yeah, this one has all of the grindables. It started off with super high attack as well. It would have been better if the HP was already in there and I could have thrown like 13 extra attack at it. But this is very usable. This is really usable, as I mentioned, for a broken set. Man, I have so many fast fatals right now. I'm pretty sure I have a quad fatal in every slot. So yeah, definitely I have to go back into R5. I haven't been doing R5 for a very long time. But yeah, that's my first quad speed since about 2 years-ish. It's been a while. It's been a while. 27er, we definitely do take those. Was that also my last one? I am not even sure about that. Was that the last one that I had? No, we have one more left. Let's just do it at a random slot 2 speed or whatnot. Do we have anything like that that is not used? Not really. Slot 6. Maybe a crit damage or so. Yeah, you're pretty horrible enough that I just like throw one at it, one and done, never look at it again, never look at it in the first place. Okay, moving on next. Despair. Despair, I probably do have targets on crit rates. No, wait, Despair, this. Yep, I definitely have more targets on this. I wouldn't mind to... yeah, this is already... no, this is already usable-ish, but it's kind of on the low roll. I can definitely use higher crit rate or higher accuracy on this. Let's see what we have for re-up targets over here. Okay, we got a triple roll defense. We definitely have a few targets on crit rate over here. Do I really need that? No, to be honest, I think I'm gonna just do this because my highest crit rate on a slot... or my highest speed on a crit rate slot 4 is already 26 right now. Whereas my highest accuracy on the Despair slot 2 is legit 22. So that's really horrible. Okay, this is, to be honest, No, too bad it's such a low... Like, if it was 24 and 24, I would have 100% taken this. But it's such a low roll on both of them. I should have actually had more targets like this. So that's always like... Knowing where you're lacking, knowing where your targets are at is always very important. But because in this case, I'm re-rolling a usable-ish rune. It's definitely not great. It just has like the good stats next to one another. But if I can get some high accuracy on this, it will be really nice. Like 30-ish accuracy will be absolutely goated. Even 22 next to other good lines will be good. Because right now, the highest line on this is actually kind of horrible. Like, this is pretty much close to like a blue with high grinds. Yeah, it's pretty blue with high grinds. So that one doesn't really matter. Okay, moving on next. What do we have over here? Once again, we're looking at crit rate force. Could be a misty thing, could be a lot of stuff right there. So definitely need a bit more speed to make this more interesting. Crit rate force are always good targets. So let's see if we can get some Gucci stuff over here. I'm already very happy with that 27. Is that my highest crit rate 4? It's not my highest crit rate 4, but it does give me options. My highest crit rate 4 is a 28 on a... always the defense. Is a 28 on a will rune. But that 28 on will rune makes it where I kind of force myself always to go for the full will set. And I cannot use any of my 32s that I have in slot 3s or slot 1s. So in this case, I could actually give the combination of just giving a full broken set, for example, to a Shiho. And then use the other runes somewhere else. And then give the crit rate 4 that's 28, so therefore 33 somewhere else. So that's definitely a really nice improvement right there. Blade, we already did. Nemesis, we didn't do yet. Apparently, I don't have any Nem targets. Neither that I did already mention or I did already place in somewhere. Let's see what we do have. This is full on weird. It is high roll, but it is full on weird. Let's see. Nemesis often does lead into crit damage or attack 6s, attack 2s, and those kind of things. So let's see if I have any of those, which I would say is like, yo, I can actually use that for a re-up potential. Not really. Well, you're a hero. We're not re-upping heroes, that's for sure. This one, however, it already has good damage stats, but besides that, it's actually super horrible. Like, there's no speed, no nothing in there. Let's just do you. In the end, you're, like, just hard carried by your grind. That's why you're still looking decent. Otherwise, this is also pretty much just straight up blue. So let's just do a few in here, and then maybe a few in, like, a damage 4 or something. Let's see what we can find. That is really good. Could have been higher in stats, but that's actually really good. That is usable. Could be 3 higher, could be 3 higher. Can still rock in defense in here. That's full grindable. Yep, I like those. This one, I also did not really like the looks of it. The high accuracy, the high crit rate, it doesn't make too much sense. Yeah, sure, maybe if you want to go some weird ass, what's it called? Helena as Leo counter or whatnot. But then again, let's see if we can get anything better. 17 speed, 17 crit rate, wouldn't really classify that as better. But let's see, don't really expect... Nope, if that was a 24, once again, a lot of low triples on the 19s. For speeds, definitely don't need those. But then again, I already did do good on the 27 speeder with the other one. Will runes. Pretty sure I do have will rune targets. Will rune is also, as I mentioned, slot 2 that I would like to get some upgrades on. In this case, my only slot 2 target that I have is a accuracy. I would rather see resistance on the slot 2. Because, sure, getting a high crit rate on this is really nice, but I would rather have high accuracy than high crit rate on this, to be honest. Because if we lock in all of them, my highest crit rate is a 26. My highest, my highest accuracy is 26. My highest crit rate is a 25. So that is by the value already a bit higher. So let's see if there are any other re-up-ish targets. No, that one is good enough to be keeping using. This one is, to be honest, kind of horrible-ish. It can be used for very specific things, but in the end, could have been 18, could have been 24, could have been another like grindable roll. So I definitely could see more value in that one. This one could have been higher as well. It's kind of missing a whole roll in this or in the other one. Ooh, is this... no, this is just straight up usable. Yeah, this is good enough to be usable. That is not. This is... Would we classify this as usable? Well, I can put HP in here. Attack, defense. Yeah, no, this one is actually kind of usable too. And then we go into the heroes. So I did see this one. Yeah, this one just feels like super low on everything. Sure, I could go for different things as well with the re-ups on the will runes, but as you just saw, 26 accuracy. Often I'm like, yeah, I'm just lacking the accuracy because I don't have a good accuracy slot 2 on will. I actually ever re-upped a slot 2, I think it was a will or a Vio, for a old guildie of mine, and he got 40 accuracy on a slot 2 with full-on grindables next to it. I was like, yo, this is my best re-up ever, and it's not on my account. Fuck. Like, that was like, he had all grindables next to it and 40 accuracy. That was just straight up insane. So it was HP, defense, and attack, and 40 accuracy on the crit damage over here. I was like, yo, that shit insane. Oh, this one? Low-key? For a nuker? It's too bad that this is already in there. I could do flat attack in there and just make it a full nuking rune. Yeah, I think I can kind of use that-ish. It's kind of weird, but let's just use that. Shield wouldn't be surprised if I also had a slot 4 target on that. With crit rates. That's kind of what the thing what I did, because once again, it's one of those slots. The best slot, if you happen to get a high speed, such as that 27, is in the end a crit rate 4 with accuracy innate, because it's the most all-round that can fit everything if it is just simply high enough in speed. So this is where I just went like, yo, I have no clue what I exactly need, but if I want a gamble target for high speeds, that is my gamble target for the high speeds. So yeah, that's why I had a lot of those in a lot of different scenarios. 32 speeds. I mean, flat attack. We don't need those. We do not want those. No one wants those. Final one, also not usable. Oh, that's totally fine. Revenge. Once again, same thing. Revenge, would I want to do anything else? No. Revenge slot. Actually, the accuracy is a little bit like, if it goes onto a vert, you don't need it. But then again, it's just good enough that you can still use that on a bunch of other things. Like also Misty, once again, can definitely fit a Misty with the higher accuracy in there. So let's see if we can get anything according to speeds. Anything speeds. Wait, did he also just... Wait, no way, that's just a random rune. That's just a random rune. That's an older rune he already had, for sure. Otherwise, he would have had an innate. Because in yet, I do always recommend search at least for an innate, because it gives you more chance of getting the speed in there. We fatal bunnies. I'm pretty sure I have a fatal quad in every slot. I will check that after doing all of these. But I'm pretty sure I have a fatal quad in every slot. Destroy. Once again, same stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All of those things that could be broken, I'm like just straight up like, just crit rate or slot force. Let's just go. We don't care. Or destroy is also one of those. It just ends up like siege defense in the most cases. Some siege offense here and there. It's a little bit more niche. Most of the time it's just siege defense. Anything else, I wouldn't use it. RTA would never use it. Nice high tripler. 1132. That's a very high tripler. Oh, I thought it was gonna like quad as well, with the first 2 low rolls in there. A lot of triple rolls on this one thus far. And all kinds of triple rolls we do not need. We just are speed chasing with these. That thing did not even look legendary. Well, that's a tripler as well, and a very high tripler. Fight runes. Let's see what we have for fight runes. HP, crit damage. For fight runes, I would definitely say crit damage is 4, attack 6, attack 2, maybe even a, what's it called? Crit rate 4. Nah, speed 2 is probably better. Ooh, that's actually a juicer. That's actually a juicer. That's very usable. Yeah. Put something else over there. Yeah, definitely not bad. Definitely not bad. Can absolutely use that. So, okay, I guess that's the only thing that I have for you. So let's see if we have some kind of attack 6 or attack... that thing is absolutely horrible. That thing is also kind of horrible. Do we have anything with an innate? It's crit damage innate. If he didn't have crit damage innate, I would have absolutely done that one. This one is also looking very darn scuffed. And the defense, I don't care about if that is the innate. So let's actually do this one. I do already have one of these on high speeds, but I'm more looking for just... Well, actually, this one is somewhat usable with your accuracy, but... And I did not even put the crit rate in here just yet. No, I would argue that this one is actually kind of usable. Let's maybe not do that one. The crit damage in there is a little bit weird. Why are all these things so weird? Okay, let's just do this one. It's kind of usable itself as well, to be honest. Do we have anything, just a random fight with anything looking like an innate? Anything with innates, that is really bad. And my fight runes suck. But then again, I never farm fight runes. Okay, never mind. My fight runes are actually kind of usable. But I don't have re-up targets on fight runes. That is the main issue. Maybe you should be looking at like, yo, what's my slowest slot, and then make some work out of those or anything like that. A lot of them that I did keep, I did not really keep re-up targets on fight. I thought there were more of those. Yeah, the one that was classified as re-up target was a slot 6. Maybe we can actually find something over here, slot 2, as I mentioned. Is there anything that's really bad? Okay, that's really bad, but that is bad with the wrong innate as well. That doesn't help us. Is this legendary? It is legendary, doesn't look legendary. We can maybe give this a little bit of an upgrade. It is already usable, but I couldn't find any targets. And as mentioned earlier, for the video, I just want to get all of those re-ups in just for the sake of it. Come on, give me a super high crit rate. If I get like a 22 to more crit rate on this, would be really nice. Okay, and none of these. Next, I think I'm done with all of them. Yeah, I did not get any of these at all. Nope. Okay, so done with all of them. So the high price in the end is going to be this one. Wait, this one. This one. I already had a 25, but yeah, 27, full and grindable. That's a really insane one. You can also see the efficiency on this one. It's gonna be real good. Like, actually, this one is, besides the 3 over here and the 3 over there, it's gonna be an absolute max because it's fatal. You're gonna throw as many grinds at it until this shows all 10 and this is a 5. So that's really nice. As I was saying, do I have quads in every slot? So I have 1 quad over there. I have 1 quad over there. I have definitely 1 quad over there, 34, 30. And do I have a quad in this slot? 33. So yeah, I have a quad speed. Yeah, this was my only slot I was missing quad speed in. So my full fatal set, fastest set I can do right now on full fatal, is we're going to keep in mind the +5 from this one. And then we're going to go 33, 34, 31, 31. And then we add, of course, a whatever over here. So I can do a 203 full fight, or not fight, fatal unit. I keep saying fight. Full fatal unit, 203 speed. Oh, I just got to share that for a second. That's just hella funny. So yeah, those were all of my re-ups right there. I hope you got as much luck as I did, because in the end, I would say for me, hella W session right there. And that's also kind of the cost that you could get for like 500 re-ups. So in the end, if I did not get that 127, whole session will be absolute ass. Getting that 120 session, absolute W session. And it's kind of similar as getting LD scrolls. Like if you get a really good LD5, it's good. If you just get a bunch of LD4s and it's HOH, it's all terrible. So yeah, that's just in the end. The name of the game is RNG. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you as always in the next one. In the Discord, and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.